Hello and welcome, guys. My name is Putt, and I'm joined today with Win and team. We're going to be talking about plant-based diet. So, um, basically, we're going to be talking about three different aspects of plant-based diet. We'll be focusing on health benefits, animal products alternatives, and then the environmental impacts. So let's just start first off. To start with team, which is going to be talking about the health benefits.
For the health benefits, it affects your health when you eat an effective plant-based diet, and it will show as a result into the four main part. The first one is it will reduce the blood pressure, as well as it will keep your heart healthy, or it will improve your cardiovascular system, and also the third one is it decrease your risk of cancer, and the fourth one is it improve your cholesterol, and all of these things will make you live longer. Okay, let's talk about the short-term benefits. The short-term benefit I was indicated from my personal plant-based diet, and also some information from the internet. The first one is the amount and efficiency of sleep. I have more time to sleep with a deeper sleep than usual, and I don't know why I woke up so early than usual too. For my physical health, I have a freshy skin, and for my weight, I lost 2 or 3 kilograms of weight in like 1 week, or I think 2 weeks of the plant-based diet. For my mental health, for the beginning of the plant-based diet, it was tough and hard for me because I was a meat lover. I love to eat meat and some dairy product every day. So like it changed my habit of eating to eat like only a plant ingredients. But after 3 or 4 days, I think I can eat it for like a month or 2 months. For this topic, I would like to like compare with you, but
Yeah,
you're also involved into the plant-based diet, right?
yeah, I was involved too. So
Yeah.
we basically agreed on um, we're both doing a plant-based diet, but we did focus on two different aspects. So he focused on team. He focused on the um, health benefits, but I personally focus on the animal products alternatives. So the uh, for me it was quite hard, and I didn't finish it because after 3 days I was tired of the repetitive food that I was having because of the current situation, and also the availability in Thailand for meat products alternatives is not that much. It is just beans and something like that.
Let's talk more about the information about plant-based diets. I will talk about the reason why some people does not have the same health benefits. Let's show the survey first. According to the academic report in Australia, the adoption of a plant-based was lack of information about plant-based diets for about 42%. And also the research about the problem, which are sex, age, and education, were present over the quarter of the barrier as a barrier items. As you see on the survey, uh, the difference between male and female was impact with the result. For instance, male do not want to change their eating habit more than women do. The last one that I'm going to talk about is plant-based diet on plant. It is some kind of interesting topic for some people, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, according to the academic report, approximately 12% of pet owners let their pet experience the vegetarian and plant-based diets, and the result showing that they have a fluffy fur and beautiful fur with longer life than the standard. The last one that I'm going to talk about is plant-based. Also need some more supplement because the nutrient in plant-based doesn't enough for them. There are some supplements, for instance, calcium, omega-3, vitamin D, vitamin B12, and zinc, iron. Okay, now I want to know about the alternative of food. What can you say about it?
So about the alternatives product, we could see in our daily life that the plant that contains proteins are tofu, tempeh, which is the fermented soybeans, seitan, a processed wheat gluten, mushrooms, lentils, and as well as other beans like mung beans, black beans, red beans, you name it. There's a lot of beans out there that contains protein. So people who are vegan or is doing plant-based diet often eat these food as their main source of protein. But in the research from Denmark about food quality and preference of plant-based diet, there has been found that there is three groups of people in this category, following categories. The first one would be about the group of the ones who can eat basically anything. They don't mind eating only plants. They just eat these kind of food like tofu or beans every single day and they're fine with it. And the second group is the group where at first they have negative thoughts about these, but then over time they change their view and they can eat this plant protein foods every day. But there's one group that they can't eat this kind of plant protein food every single day repetitively, just like myself, as I mentioned. So there has been some companies that would try to bring these people into the plant-based diet game. So there's Beyond Meat's Impossible Food and Just Company that I have found is the most popular. So Beyond Meat's and Impossible Foods is focusing on making a ground meat that is made from plant. So it looks like ground beef, it tastes like ground beef, it smells like ground beef when cooked, but it gives the environment more of a sustainable result, and as well as it's also plant-based. There's no animal has been killed, and it's
Is
also
it expensive? Is it expensive?
for now it's quite. I think it's quite expensive because it's just the beginning, but I think there will be less expensive as time goes by. And there's also Just Company that makes eggs from mung beans that coagulate and comes together when cooked like an ordinary scrambled eggs. So, but there's also one interesting thing that these companies are doing, but it's not really related with the plant-based diet, is that they grow meat in the lab. So it is basically use genetics safe chicken feather and just bring it to the lab and just incubate it, make it looks feels like in the chicken's body, and just grow chicken and meat out of it. These products are quite expensive, as we mentioned, and not available yet worldwide. But I think as time passes by, as the production costs starting to get lower and lower, I think they'll be available worldwide in the future and will be reachable to everyone. Okay, so
Uh, there will be more people involved into plant-based diet if
yes,
they
I think
follow
so.
that you thought.
Yeah, because they're basically meat eaters and they can eat this instead of meat. So speaking of environmental impacts, let's just go to Win, who's going to be talking about the environmental impacts from farming livestock compared to going plant-based. Let's go, Win.
Okay, cool. Okay, so after you guys talk about their own aspects, so I would like to talk about mine, which is impact on the environment. I would like to give an idea and discuss that does really the plant-based diet can really save the world, and can the plant-based diet help us to sustain the world environment by referring to the graph, facts, and data that will be shown. So let's go into the first point. You might see the graph talking about greenhouse gases. So usually, normally people may think that the large amount of carbon dioxide released from the transportations from cars or train may the major factor that release carbon dioxide and greenhouse gases, but which it is not true. According to the research, it stated that consuming animal products can produce more greenhouse gases than we can ever imagine. It can create more pollution than factory wastes. According to the graph says that the greenhouse gases emissions from food productions. Among the global emissions, 26% are created by food productions. Among 26%, 31% came from livestock and fisheries. This is quite interesting, and we will talk about more. So the daily products such as fish, beef that we used to eat every day, this graph shows that it can create massive amount of outcomes to the environment, which can harmful our environments and make the world getting worse. Come up to the next point, the next graph. Okay, talk about the next point. It is about the agricultural land. Like actually livestock require much more amount of space in order to take care of those animals, like cows, porks, chickens, or whatever. You guys know that it requires much a lot of land, and our world has the place that used for agriculture, but there is a limit to raising crops or feeding animals. In this graph, it shows that 50% of world's habitable land is used for agriculture, and those 50%, 77% are used for livestock. What does this mean? It means that the increasing the human population the more demand will be created, and if people wanted to eat more and more animal products, which means that it requires more land to produce these products to feed these people. So plant-based diet can or might solve these problems because it requires much less land in order to produce food for us, the human beings. Also, eating animal products or meat products, it can affect freshwater usage. The research states that 70% of world fresh water is used for agriculture, and did you guys know that around 15,000 liters of water are needed to produce just 1 kilogram of beef? You can see that beef is the biggest factor that requires a lot and tons amount of fresh water. Therefore, many of abundant areas are going to be used by human due to the increasing population. Therefore, those places will be disappeared and will be used for livestock farming. That means our environment are getting more danger, which result in like climate change, season change, and natural disaster. Therefore, changing to plant-based diet can reduce the releasing rate of harmful gases, provide more places for wildlife to live, and ultimately it prevents from unusual natural phenomena to occur. Thank you.
Okay, so
you guys have any questions?
Yeah, from what I heard, I agree with that. Animal production costs a lot of land as well as produce huge amount of gas emissions. Yeah.
So that's pretty much it.
Yeah. So I think that's pretty much it. Thank you for tuning in, guys. Thank you for watching. and see you then.
Bye bye.